Welcome to the official Washington Commanders Declassified podcast. And tonight we are going to take you through the official Washington Commanders Declassified mock draft. Mock draft season is in full effect. And of course, we got to get ours in. We are going to head straight to the draft lobby. At pick 16, the Washington Commanders are up. And Eric is going to make the pick for the Commanders. To give you folks that are listening on audio an idea of who's been picked already, we're going to run through the picks that have been made. Bryce Young went to Carolina. C.J. Stroud went to the Texans. Will Anderson Jr., the edge from Alabama, went to the Cardinals. Will Levis went to the Colts at number 4. Miles Murphy, the edge from Clemson, went to the Seahawks at 5. Paris Johnson, offensive tackle, Ohio State, went to the Raiders at 6. Christian Gonzalez went to the Detroit Lions, a great cornerback out of Oregon. At number 8, Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, TCU, went to the Falcons. Jalen Carter, the D tackle out of Georgia, went to the Chicago Bears. Joey Porter Jr., the cornerback, went to the Eagles. Broderick Jones, number 11, offensive tackle, went to the Titans. Tyree Wilson, edge from Texas Tech, to the Texans. Anthony Richardson of Florida went to the New York Jets. All right, a couple more picks on the board have been made. We'll skip ahead to pick 16. Eric, you are on the board. What are the Commanders doing at 16?
We are on the clock. Look at what we've got on the board sitting there at number 12. My guy, Bijan Robinson. I would be a fool not to take this guy. I know that running back isn't a pressing need. I know that we've got 2 good backs. Bijan Robinson is just special, man. You don't like to comp a guy to a Hall of Famer, but you watch that guy play. It's LaDainian Tomlinson 2.0, dude. He's so good, and he's going to be a superstar in this league. And I don't think he's going to be around when they pick. But if he is, and I see guys there. I see Devin Witherspoon there, who would be a great pick. I can't read his name because I'm blind. Brian Branch down there at 20. I would love him. He's that Swiss Army knife. I've been raving about him all season. But if Bijan Robinson is there, I'm taking him and running. And if things are going well for my draft, if Bijan Robinson's there for me.
There it is. You have it. It's on the board. Bijan Robinson goes number 16 to the Washington Commanders. Brian, as the draft progresses, you are on the clock at number 47, so be thinking about your pick. Now, let's see what's going on in the draft. Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver at Tennessee, goes to the Texans in the second round. Peter Skronsky goes to the Jets. Luke Musgrave, tight end from Oregon, goes to the Lions. Darnell Washington went to the Panthers. And we are, let's see, we got a trade offer. We're going to go ahead and reject that trade offer. We got 2 trade offers. Okay, Brian, you are on the clock at number 47. Who are the Commanders going at number 47?
We went running back in the first round. We want to make sure that running back has big, wide lanes to run through, and you only do that with offensive line. And in particular, you need a good pivot man. My first target, John Michael Schmitz, just got selected a few picks earlier. But the best guy, who may be the best center in the draft, Joe Tippmann, Wisconsin. Center, he is who the Commanders need. He will start day 1, and he will be a starter for 10 years, and he will direct traffic on that offensive line. He's my guy.
There's the pick. The Commanders get better along the offensive line, which we all know they need. Up next for the Commanders is pick number 97. The third round is continuing. Blake Freeland, O-tackle.
Look at your guy still sitting on the board there, Ellie. They took him. Hendon Hooker went.
You know where I was going with that one. So
I know.
Now I need to adjust my board, and we are going to go, if he doesn't get picked, that is. All right. Jalen Jones, cornerback, Texans, went earlier. Trey Palmer went to the Cowboys. Matthew Bergeron went to the Bengals. We are up at pick number 97. Now, I was going to go with a tight end at 97 that got drafted a little bit earlier, but I'm going to stick with my guns here. I'm going to go tight end, Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion. He's a number 102 prospect, so it's a little bit of an overdraft, but not by much. I feel comfortable taking him here. If you think that the Commanders' tight end room is set and okay, then you don't care about injuries whatsoever, and you don't think this is an important part of the offense. Eric Bieniemy loves the tight end position. We're going to go Zach Kuntz to strengthen our tight end room, and I expect him to play early. The pick has
Coach is
been
a
made.
very special athlete too. He's one of those guys that he was a Penn State guy that transferred to ODU and just wrecked it in the FBS. So that's a solid pick, I think. If he's there, there's a couple of tight ends I would probably take ahead of him, but they all appear to be gone. Sam Laporta's gone. Who I was hoping to kind of be around. All right, give me the all. I need to see who's up here.
All right, we're gonna go to the full best
Pick
available
118.
board.
There we go.
Yes, we are at pick 118. Kenny McIntosh, running back from Georgia, went to the Panthers at 114. They appear to be having a strong draft. Will McDonald the fourth, the edge from Iowa State, has gone to the Saints, and Jair Brown, safety from Penn State, went to the Vikings. Eric, 118. Where are we going?
All right. I need to see. Can you scroll down a little bit? Actually, let's go cornerback here. I want to see if my guy's here. There's a cornerback that I really like that you guys might not like, and I don't think. Scroll down a little bit more. I don't know where they have him. Oh, my guy's gone. All right. I'm not gonna complain and say where he's gone. Let's go back to the all frame here. There are several guys that I like in the fourth round. One of them happens to be a running back, and we've already taken a running back, so I'm not super thrilled with that. I think I got to go back. I think I got to go offensive line again. I think there's some solid offensive line picks here. I don't like many of the linebackers that are sitting here on the board. Trading the third from Florida. He's fine. Not a huge guy. What's a position I need here? Let me see my guards. Let me see my interior offensive linemen that are available. Antonio Maffi, is he up there? I do like. Why do they have him rated so low? Man, they got him at 208. I like him too. He's kind of a road grader. I don't know if he's a day one starter. That's probably why he's at 208. Let's scroll up a little bit and see if a couple of my other guys are here.
That's all right. Went in the second round. It's okay. You can take him.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think. Like I do like Maffi, but there may be some other guys here. I haven't done it. Oh, well, he got an offensive guard from Alabama. I don't know a lot about him, but he's an offensive guard from Alabama. Why the heck not? They've given us some good ones over the years. Ekior Jr., Emil Ekior. I should probably do some research on him. This is not shaking out like any of the sims that I ran earlier today, by the way, because I had like a bunch of guys like sitting here on the board that I was like, yeah, I want these guys, and none of them are around.
You know, the one that will be a really good value, that Andrew Voorhees guard for USC. He busted up his knee during the combine, but he's a day one starter. So if some team drafts him in 4th, 5th rounds, they'll have to wait a year till he's healed up. But I mean, he's going to be a 8-9 year starter, so he'll be a great value in those mid rounds.
Yeah, the issue with him is not him specifically. It's the offseason we've had so far, where we signed a bunch of players with injury issues.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so it increases the risk. So I would stay away from him just because of that fact. But if we didn't have that for this offseason so far, I would be 100% on board with what you're saying. But I don't like the risk given our other signings so far this offseason. All right, pick number 150. That is you, Brian. Just to recap who's gone prior to that, Trey Dean III, the safety from Florida. The Browns went ahead and took him. Charlie Jones, wide receiver from Purdue, went to the Raiders. Riley Moss, cornerback from Iowa, went to the Panthers. Jamie Robinson, 2 M's, went safety of Florida State, went to the Saints. And Zach Pickens, D tackle, South Carolina, went to the Bears at 148. 150. What are we doing, Brian?
I know exactly where we're going. Go to defense, go to edge rusher. Ron has been complaining about our edge rushers, maybe one guy in particular who's not necessarily doing some of the things that has been asked of him. But right there, KJ Henry from Clemson, he's got that typical edge rusher 4.3 build, 6'4", 255, 260 range. Has pretty strong, decent speed. He's got a couple of moves. Does he need to get more? Absolutely. But we need more edge rush depth, pass rush depth behind Chase and behind Montez. James Smith-Williams and Casey Toohill are nice people, but they scare zero NFL offenses, and we need a lot more pass rush.
I like the pick. We need it. We need depth. You don't know what's happening with Chase Young. You're not going to be, you can't be certain, right? Going into next season. So any depth we can get that we can develop. One thing this team has done a good job of is developing depth. So I like it on the defensive line anyway. Excuse me. So I do like it. We are at pick number 193. Now, Yaya Diaby went the edge from Louisville, went 191. Brandon Kipper, Oregon State, the offensive guard, went 192 to the Falcons. Cameron Mitchell went to the Rams, a cornerback from Northwestern. Jalen Green, safety from Mississippi State. I like Jalen Green. He went to the Raiders. Ali Gay went to the Titans, the edge from LSU. Now, what do we need that we don't have? We need a third quarterback. We're taking him here, right? At pick number 193. We're going Malik Cunningham. High skill set, good potential. He is going to be our third quarterback this year, and the team's going to see if they can do anything with him. If not, no harm, no foul. It is a mid to late round pick. We don't really care that much. But I think he has a lot of tools. I think he has a lot of potential, and maybe this is the project that Eric Bieniemy wants to work on if they're going to be here for a little while. He's 6'1". He's not a giant. He's about 192 pounds, so he's got to add a little bit to his frame before he can do anything. He has a great throwing motion. He's a good passer of the football. He's a very athletic quarterback too. So I think he fits that dual threat profile that the NFL is trending towards. Is he going to be a starter right away? No, but could he develop into something in the future? Absolutely. We're taking Malik Cunningham at pick number 193.
Well, you don't want Tommy DeVito? You get to see his dad, Danny DeVito, come out.
Man, Aiden O'Connell was on the board, and you took Malik Cunningham. I can't
100%.
Can't even with you.
DeVito. I mean, that's a funny last name. If he sucks at quarterback, at least he'll be funny.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
All right. So
I don't even know. Pick 215. I guess I can't take Aiden O'Connell. I think he's already gone anyway. Max, yeah, I don't like any of these quarterbacks anyway, so we're going to get those off. Can you show me my all pool, please? I want to see who's available. Oh, man, let's see. Where is my guy? Is he still there? Scroll a little bit more. Oh, my guy Cam Jones is gone. That's who I wanted to go with. Linebacker from Indiana. I think he's a solid 2-down linebacker. He is gone. I'm still going linebacker, but I'm going Shaka Hayward out of Duke. Is he still available?
Yes, he is.
Shaka Hayward. He's a 6'4". He's a 6'4" linebacker. He's a Zach Cunningham light, solid tackler, very fast, very explosive, very good player. Even though he comes from Duke, and nothing good comes from Duke, we're going to go ahead and take him there and supplement our linebacker pool with a very good athlete.
Okay. Kamari Averett, tight end. Bethune-Cookman went to the Packers at 232. Xavier Henderson, safety, Michigan State, 231. Carl Brooks from Bowling Green, a defensive tackle, went to the Bucks at 230. We are picking at 233, and that means Brian, you are up. Who is the pick, sir?
Is this our second 6th-round pick?
This is
yes.
This is
our
last
7th-round pick.
Seventh round
pick. All right, go to special teams, and for too long we have had some kind of inconsistency at the kicker position. Joey Sly had an up and down year. I'm going with a reliable Big Ten kicker, Jake Moody. He will provide some excellent competition for Joey Sly, and I think he'll absolutely supplant Joey Sly as the team's new kicker. 7th-round pick would be a perfect place for him.
I like it. That's a great pick.
I never saw you as a guy who would draft a kicker, Brian.
I like it.
I like the idea. Like, I like it. I like Moody. I would think you'd be the last of the three of us that would actually draft a kicker.
That's true.
Hey, I'll draft him. I'm just not going to trade up for a kicker or a long snapper like Rivera did.
This is true.
All right. So our mock draft, we got Bijan Robinson at 16, Joe Tippmann at 47, Zach Kuntz at 97, Emil Ikior, not to be confused with Eeyore, at 118, KJ Henry, the edge from Clemson, at 150, Malik Cunningham at 193, Shaka Hayward at 215, Jake Moody at 233. Guys, I want to ask you, where in the world did we miss in this mock draft?
It really shook out weird. Honestly, there were a lot of guys who there's a cornerback from TCU, Hodges Tomlinson, who I love. He's a little guy. He's only 5'8", but he's like a money slot corner. I think he's going to be a stud in the NFL. He's super explosive. That's who I was looking for in round 3, and he wasn't there, and it was very sad. So I do like the Kuntz pick though at tight end. Good job, Ellie. I like him a lot. He's a traits guy, which I know you love. And at that point in the draft, I like those guys too.
Yeah, it looks like, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Did we not draft a cornerback? Did we miss?
Exactly what I was
There were
going
no
to say.
corners. Yeah, there were no corners drafted.
One of our biggest needs, and while it's funny for us, this happens to NFL teams. They may have their sights set on a guy or on a particular position group, but the board sometimes shakes out that way. All of your targets get drafted before you can get to them, and you have to go to what the next best player available, maybe a guard, and not that cornerback that you want. So while it's funny that we didn't get a cornerback, that's a very real possibility for us and for any NFL team that may not actually get their target.
Yeah, we're we had 2 really good defensive backs on the board at 16 when I drafted. But Bijan Robinson was also on the board, and you've got a special running back, and we can trade Antonio Gibson for a corner if we draft Bijan Robinson. Or Brian, I'll draft either one of them. I don't care, or trade either one of them because Bijan supplants both of them as the lead back. But yeah, I mean, normally I would not have passed on like a Devin Witherspoon, if it had been, if it hadn't been for one of the really special players, elite running back in the draft left at that spot. You just can't pass that up, in my opinion, anyway.
You know what? I agree with all of you guys, and I think that's a good way to put it, Brian. This sometimes happens to teams, especially earlier in the early rounds. You want supreme talents that can contribute right away, right? So if your cornerback that you want is not there, that doesn't mean that you just draft somebody late in the draft just because, right? You later in the draft, you're looking for traits, right? Things that you could potentially develop and get the most out of. And I think we did that. Now, how about this? I'm going to propose this. Let's run through a second simulation and see how it shakes out differently. That one was about 10 minutes. I think we can get to this one even faster just to see what we come out with, and we'll talk about which one we like better. I'm going to go back to the simulator. I'm going to bring it up for those watching, those listening. We will obviously, give you the rundown as we go. I'm starting a new simulation. This is our mock draft 2 on the same podcast. You don't get this anywhere else. All right, here we go. Same picks, fellas. The mock draft is underway. There we go.
All right, give me something good here.
Exactly the same as the other one. Anthony Richardson went to the Raiders this time.
Raiders. I can see that.
Christian Gonzalez goes so high. He never goes below 10. He's always like 7 or 8.
He's always fine.
Yeah.
Lots of trade offers. Why is that? Who's sitting here? Oh, Jalen Carter. Oh, look at Jalen Carter in free fall. This is I'm trading this pick. If I've got all those trade offers and Jalen Carter sitting there, this is like a Jonathan Allen situation from a couple of years ago. Remember when he fell? He was like the second rated player on the board, and he fell all the way to us at 17 or whatever.
How happy would Rivera be with Jalen Carter sitting on the board right now?
Can you believe that? You just re-upped Deron Payne. You just brought in another defensive tackle. You've got John Ridgeway on the roster. You've got Fidarian, who you drafted last year. Now you've got Jalen Carter sitting here. And you can't pass that up, right? Well, I mean, I can because I'm not Ron Rivera and I'm not in love with defensive tackles. But actually, look behind him. I mean, my guy Bijan is still sitting there at 12. All the corners are gone. Well, Cam Smith, who I don't love for this defense. Brian Branch, probably my favorite defensive player in this draft.
Starting guard
would be available to us. Peter Skoronski is there. I mean, I'm definitely looking to trade back, but I'm going to shake things up, and I'm actually going to take Skoronski here. Peter Skoronski, because you've got a potential all-pro guard for many years sitting there. Again, I'm sane me is still drafting Bijan Robinson there. Really sane me is trying to trade out of that pick because there's a lot on the board and you can move down and probably recoup some picks. But I'm going to give us our future at guard.
I like it.
All right, so we are going to work our way down to 47. Andre Carter II, the edge out of Army, has gone to the Jets. Cody Mock, offensive tackle out of North Dakota State, went to the Falcons. Cedric Tillman, wide receiver out of Tennessee, went to the Patriots. I'm going to reject these trade offers because we said no trades. Brian, at pick 47, where you going, man?
Collegiate Kansas, another defensive tackle sitting there for you.
and Ron would be salivating at that possibility. I know it to be true. But with offensive line, guard, interior player satisfied with the 16th pick, I'm going cornerback in this second round, and I'm going for local prospect Deontay Banks, cornerback out of University of Maryland, 6'1", 190-some pounds, and is extremely fast, very much suited to our zone scheme that we run here.
There is no way he's still on the board at 47 in real life,
No.
but here, absolutely, you take him. He's top 20. He would be in consideration at 16 for me.
Yeah, very much true.
He gives me the
Because he's a
vibe
scheme
from,
fit for this defense too, though.
Yeah.
Like I would take him
who's
over
the other
somebody like
quarterback?
Porter or Witherspoon.
He gives me Kevin Barnes vibes.
No, no, it's because he's from Maryland. No,
That's it.
No, he can play. Yeah, it's the Maryland thing.
Did you guys see Devon Witherspoon's measurements? 5'11", 181 pounds. I would have to say that puts him in the slot only, right?
Maybe you can play outside of that. It's tricky, but I think you can pull it off if you can cover.
Yeah.
I mean, Deion Sanders made a whole career out of not tackling anybody. So if you're that good.
Very true.
All right. Let's see. A couple players went off the board a little earlier than I wanted to. I think the Commanders are looking for running back help. So I think Eric got that right in our first draft. There are some very good running backs on the board at number 97. Third round is a good spot to pick a running back. However, if you pick a running back in the third round, generally you're looking at a starter. I'm actually going to do that. Kendre Miller out of TCU is my pick. He is 6 foot, 220 pounds. He is a very good athlete. He carried that TCU team in some of their late season games. I think he is a superb running back. He's not the fastest in the world, 4.58, but I think he's a little bit more shifty than what he gets credit for. I think he can help our roster. So I was looking at A-Chain, but he is already gone. So I'm going to go with a completely different type of running back, and I'm going to go with Kendre Miller. So, all right, 118.
Should have hung out and let me pick Tyjae Spears at 118 because he's still on the board, and I like him a lot, but that's just me. You can have your pick. We got to go back to all so I can see who I'm picking here. Chase Brown from Illinois, Tanner McKee, our quarterback. Nope, I'm going center. Ricky Stromberg, probably the number 3 center on the board. Still a really solid pick, Ricky Stromberg. I'm an interior offensive line guy this time around with Skoronski and Stromberg. But yeah, we got to shore that up, and we definitely need a center.
I like it. Good depth is hard to find. Kenny McIntosh, running back from Georgia, goes to the Bears. Jordan McFadden, O-tackle Clemson, goes to the Chiefs. Jamie Robinson to the Bills. Isaiah McGuire, edge Missouri, went to the Browns. And we are coming up on pick number 152.
Oh, look who's there. Look who's there, Brian.
Tyjae Spears is there, and I would take him, but we just got Kendre Miller, who's a excellent running back. We're going to stick with offense. If you go to offense and go to the tight end group, it's now time to get Eric Bieniemy, his chess piece, his weapon, and Luke Schoonmaker, tight end, the University of Michigan, 6'5", 255, excellent blocker, but can also catch and run, and you can move him around. He can be inline or he can be split out.
It's a great pick.
I got no problems there.
Can he be the next Travis Kelce, or at least some light version of that for our offense, right?
He's more Greg Olsen. I would say probably more Greg Olsen.
You can live with that too.
Zach Kuntz can be your next Kelce, though.
All right, we are coming up on pick number 193, and this is a 6th-round pick, and you know what that means, fellas. We are going quarterback without a doubt.
There you go.
Oh, they just took it.
They just got it. DTR. The Patriots.
One pick.
They robbed you.
Oh, I don't even know what to do at this point. They just completely robbed me. I tell you what I am going to do. I am never without a plan. We're going to go way down to the no, we're not. I'm lying. We're going to go ahead.
Pool. Yeah.
I'm going to take Max Duggan out of TCU. I think he's a career backup, but you know what? You need those in the NFL. I'm going to take him. I'm lying. You know what? I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to make a desperation pick. My guy got picked at 192 just before I went. So
That's
what
right.
I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some depth at wide receiver for the long term. And I am going to go Dante Demas Jr., the wide receiver out of Maryland. I like him as a player. I think he's athletic. I think he can help. I think he brings something to this offense that we don't currently have. He is getting picked, a hometown guy. He's going to become a hometown hero. Dante Demas Jr.
And here we are in our second pick of round 6.
Yeah.
He's, by the way, he is 6'4", 205 pounds. This guy is a complete Cam Sims replacement. We don't have that big body. Still a good athlete. We'll see what he can be at the NFL level, but I am taking my chances on this guy. I think he could be really good. 215, you are up. What do we got?
All right, let's go to the all pool. I'm taking always looking for best player available. And your boy Max is still there, but I'm not taking him because I can't do it. We've already picked a running back because Ibrahim would be a fun pick there. My guy Maffey is there. I've already taken 2 interior offensive linemen. Am I going to be that dude? No, I'm taking Cam Jones because that's who I wanted last time at this pick, and he's there now. Cam Jones, linebacker from Indiana. Like I said, more likely a 2-down linebacker, but he is a beast between the tackles and he blitzes like a champ. And I would love to see him on this team. He was in my first mock as well. I do like him quite a bit.
It's a good pick, man. Linebacker depth never fails you. Ron likes late round linebackers.
And he can play special teams.
And that's what Ron loves even more. So There you go. Khalil Hudson is on this roster because he plays special teams. And Ron likes him. And he came from Michigan. So shout out to Khalil Hudson. Brian, 233, man. What are we doing?
I would go kicker again because I think it's that important, but let's go defense. Let's go edge rusher. Ron hasn't gotten an edge rusher in this particular go round on there, and I will go with Robert Beal from the University of Georgia. Another big, strong, fast player, needs refinement in some of his handwork and pass rush moves, but another big body, physical guy.
Yeah, late
no
round
quarterback this draft.
No quarterback. Late round defensive talent play Jadakiss. Wow, I just saw that name. Jadakiss Bonds.
Jadakiss, there you go.
Bonds, there you go.
Anyway, late round defensive linemen play for this team. They believe in a true rotation. So every pick at defensive line is going to get in the game at some point if they're worth their weight in salt. All right, to recap our draft. Peter Skronsky, listed as a tackle, probably slides in a guard at 16. Deontay Banks, cornerback from Maryland. Kendre Miller, running back TCU. Ricky Stromberg, offensive center from Arkansas, 118. Luke Schoonmaker, I said it right, tight end, Michigan. I like Michigan, by the way. It's my favorite college program. He's going to be a good player for us. Dante Demas Jr., wide receiver of Maryland. Cam Jones, linebacker, Indiana. And Robert Beal, your edge from Georgia, 233. Fellas, I thought we did a much better job of spreading the talent picks around. We filled needs much more this time around. I think we drafted for need and didn't go best player available maybe as much as a normal NFL organization would. But I like the picks.
Well, if you look at those first 4 or 5 guys, they can all either start
all day one starters. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all heavy contributors day one. Even the running back, Kendre Miller, he's going to be in a heavy rotation with Gibson and with Brian Robinson. But all those other guys, they're essentially day one starters. So even with the, kind of the need focus this one had, we still got guys who can play from day one. And that's what we need. We need guys who can play now, not necessarily guys who can play in a couple of years, or at least Ron needs them to play now.
Yeah, and Deontay Banks at 47, man, take that one and run if he's there.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were making that pick, and I was gonna get annoyed with you because the best center in the draft was there, John Michael Schmidt. Because I wasn't even thinking Deontay Banks would even be like, why would you even think that he would still be there at 47? But man, that'd be a home run if he were available there. I do think a late round quarterback. I was tempted to take Jake Haener, but getting crazy Colt McCoy vibes off that dude. Which I mean, for a 7th round quarterback. probably the best you can hope for anyway. But I just couldn't do it because I don't like him enough as a player, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy like Jake Hayner or any of the Clayton Tune, if they're there in the 6th or 7th round, they'll be there as an undrafted free agent. I mean, the disparity from the first 4 quarterbacks in the rest of the group is huge. So I can see the first 4 going, and then the next guy probably, not for a couple of rounds on there. And even that next guy is probably 2 guys who will go, and then everybody else will be at the end of the draft. So no, absolutely.
Now that you guys mentioned it, I didn't see Stetson Bennett on anywhere in that draft. So he must have been getting picked in like the 4th or 5th round in that mock draft.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, probably, but it's a simulation and a mock draft for a reason. I mean, look, he's another one like Duggar, who is like 25 years old and, probably Ty Detmer type career backup quarterback. So good for him for getting in there. There's a lot of 25-year-old quarterbacks this year. Like, what's the deal with that? There's a lot of guys. It's the transfer portal coming back to bite us, I think.
And the COVID
like Hooker and O'Connell and Duggan and Bennett, those guys are all like my age, man.
Well, it's the COVID year, but also some of them got NIL deals to come back. Think about it. If you don't have a 1st-round grade or a 2nd-round grade and you've got an NIL deal to come back, why not come back for another year? I know that there's a couple of quarterbacks that stayed who could have been in this class and would have been higher. We're like, you know what? I'll just take the $100,000 or how much ever it is, $300,000, and stay in college another year so I can, continue to play and then up my chances at being a 1st-round pick the following year.
Yeah, I think the pick of the draft was Kendre Miller out of TCU. He's a perfect hybrid between Gibson and Robinson. I think he's much more explosive at point of contact than Gibson, but he's much more athletic and agile than Robinson. He is a 3-down running back in the NFL if you want him to be. I would have loved to have A-Chain just because he provides such a different skill set, replaces J.D. McKissick, what our offense sorely needs. But I like the pick. All right. Well, look, this has been our official Washington Commanders Declassified mock draft. Also, I want to say thank you to the Commanders organization. They sent me another customized football. It has my government name on it, so I'm not going to show that to you, but it's right here. Here you go. I appreciate you, the organization. It's really nice. This is my
what else besides your name? What else does it say on it?
It says the Commanders 2022, 2023. I'm bleeping out things. The Washington Commanders inaugural year on it.
Does it have the new owner's name on there?
Yeah, it does. It says
signed by Jeff Bezos.
Jeffrey
Magic
Jordan.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go, quick thoughts on that, guys. We debate about this internally, but I want to share with the audience. Eric, the ownership situation, do you think we're close to being resolved? And are you on the Harris train?
I mean, I think we're close to finding out who it's going to be. The resolution is probably going to take some time to wrap up the whole sale process. I do think Josh Harris is probably the guy that's going to end up buying it. The nostalgia of getting, or the high of getting rid of Dan Snyder will stick around for a while, but then we're going to have, high expectations for him. So I hope he's not a cheap owner. And I hope he, doesn't, take team funds to buy planes and yachts. So, that's very low expectations for the new owner, obviously. But yeah, I think Josh Harris is the guy. From what it's starting to sound like, there's still a possibility for Bezos. I like that Magic Johnson came on board. I think that's pretty cool because he's got ownership experience with other teams, and he is a very successful businessman in his own right. I think that can only help brand recognition, all that good stuff. So having him as a part of it, I'm excited about that if that's the case. And of course, you can never count out Jeff Bezos because he's got all the money in the universe. He could, make things happen if he wanted to, but we'll just see how that shakes out.
Let me do it for you. I am officially counting out Jeff Bezos. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know for sure, but I'm counting him out myself. I love the Magic Johnson inclusion as well. At one point in time, I know he's worth about $600 million due to his own business acumen and the movie theater chains and everything like that. And honestly, I don't even think it's about money. Like, I think he helps with some of the liquid assets, but I don't think it's solely about that. I think he brings a good character. I think he brings a minority ownership that the NFL was looking for. And I think that what it does is gives credibility to the bid that's being placed there from a sports relational standpoint. Yes, Josh Harris owned other sports teams, but Magic Johnson's just on another level of public visibility. It's somebody who can be an ambassador for our organization as well. You cannot understate that, especially with the last owner who was a hermit and nobody liked. This guy is a very likable and marketable person, and Magic Johnson. You cannot go wrong with that. I do like that. Brian, what are your thoughts on the ownership situation?
I think it is in a little bit of a standoff right now. I think Dan Snyder has the bids, and I think he doesn't like the bids. I think he is stuck on a number that he had in his head. I think it's probably $6 billion or maybe a little bit over $6 billion. And he's looking at Josh Harris. He's looking at Furtada. And whoever else the quote unquote mystery bidders are, and hoping that they all kind of, up their bid, or somebody comes in at the last second with a high bid. So I think he's going to decide here shortly, because there is a time frame. He can't run this out indefinitely. The NFL is not going to let him. And Bank of America is not going to let him, because they want to get all that money that he owes them back. It really comes down to, will Dan just say, okay, Josh Harris, I'll take this 5.5 or $5.8 billion bid and be done with it? Or does anybody else, right? And that's why people keep saying Jeff Bezos' name, because he does have that type of money and he has shown some interest. Is it a lot? Is it a big interest? Is it real interest? We don't know any of those things. It could be no interest by the time this thing is all wrapped up and done. So I think it's coming here soon. I hope here it's in a couple of weeks. If not, if it's in the next month, I'll be fine with that, because anything to get us rid of him will be the ideal solution. And that will be our mini Super Bowl for this upcoming season once that finally does happen.
Imagine buying a team for $800 million 20 plus years ago, and somebody's offering you $5.8 billion now, and you're so bad with money and finances that you may not be able to accept that offer, right? Let that be a life lesson to everyone, right? Like, be in charge of your financial situation. I mean, that is the dream investment, right? That's the appeal of owning an NFL team. 20 years later, that's going to be worth at least double.
Yeah.
And, he got to that
Yeah,
point.
I've always been told that there's a difference between poor and broke, and you're seeing it right there, because poor, you don't have anything. And when you're broke, you've got lots of stuff that you can't pay for. And Dan Snyder appears, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to get to. Our ownership appears to be trending toward the latter. Let's just put it that way. It's a little, it makes me feel better, about my financial situation. Not that I am in a position to own a yacht with a, IMAX theater on it, but I apparently have the same ability to pay for it that he does. So
yeah, it's a fascinating thing. And I think there will be lots of movies about our owner, or books and scripts about our owner in the future, but just wow, but we're on to better days soon. I don't know if I feel like it's as close as I think a lot of people are making it seem, just because of the fact that they're still accepting bids. Like, if you think about the home buying process, I know this is vastly different, but once you accept a bid on the home buying process, even though all the stuff is not final, the bid process ends at that point once you agree to work with somebody. And it sounds like that is still wide open. That's what's giving me a little bit of pause, that I don't know that they've gotten to a point where there is an agreement in place. But it may work differently when you're working on accounts of this size, to where you can agree to work with somebody and still be vetting other offers. I don't know if it works like that, but that's not how it works on the home side.
Yeah, the only difference is there's not a whole line of people who can afford to put in a bid. You're talking about the top half of the 1% of the 1% that's out there. And I was listening to a business reporter, it was Sportico earlier today, and they were like, yeah, there's not anybody else there. You're literally looking at a handful of, Josh Harris, Furtada, whoever this mystery bidder is, if Bezos is in or out. I mean, that's kind of your list there. There's no, Snyder may hope that somebody jumps in at the last minute, but who is that, right? Elon Musk, like who else out there has that type of money to go in and put in that bid? So it's really slim pickings when it comes to what offers he has available to him right now.
Well, folks, this will be settled soon enough. Time to focus on the football and the draft. We are in full draft swing. The Commanders have a lot of work to do in the draft to get better, but they have a good number of picks to do it with. It'll be exciting. Stay tuned. We'll have more mock drafts in the future. This has been our first Commanders and second, I should say, Commanders mock draft of the season. Hope you have enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe on your picks. Fellas, I think we're out of here, right?
See ya.
Sounds like a plan.